Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is your daily go-getterism number 672 for August 5th, 2016. Tonight I want to talk to y'all about putting up with other people's troubled kids. Putting up with other people's troubled kids. Notice I didn't say other people's bad kids. It's not that other people's kids aren't bad. It's not like our own kids aren't bad every now and then. But sometimes it's best for us to stay away from words like bad, because we can put the wrong idea in some people's minds where there really isn't any bad or any malintent. You can put it that way. You know, when I was younger, it seemed like adults took an interest in kids' lives, and that was regardless of the age of the children. Now, it may only have seemed this way. You know how when we're younger, our perspective of things is different. Who knows if this generation nowadays is going to grow up and say, yeah, back in the 2000 and teens, whatever, you know, parents were this way, or people looked at kids this way, or they were really better with children than they are, or more concerned with children than they are now, or whatever that era will be. But I'll say this: when we were younger, it did seem like adults took an interest in the lives of children. You know, whether those children were really young toddlers, or whether they were pre-adolescents in single digits, or whether those kids were teenagers. There was an interest to make sure that at least the children had the tools that they needed for the most part to be able to make it through life. So, you know, for a lot of people, unfortunately, for a lot of kids, school may be their sanctuary. If they're not being loved at home, if they're not given the type of attention that they really need and the guidance that they need from their parents, if they're not given that in the home, then many times school is the best place for them. So they may look forward to going to school. The only thing is, on the flip side of that, is if there's really a bad situation going on at home, it's normally reflective in a child's behavior in school. So it can work two ways, you know. Nonetheless, there doesn't seem to be as much of an interest in making sure that our young people have the tools that they need at their disposal to be able to succeed. I mean, because they call this Generation Y, Generation X, Y, whatever, because they call them that, it seems like their future is unsure. But it does seem like there have been some things put in place to stop their future from becoming bright. You know, just as I was talking about schools a few moments ago, well, we can see that it seems like the school-to-prison pipeline is definitely being engineered in our urban areas. When you start tearing down the school system, but you're not putting up a replacement in its place, but you're building more prisons, privatized prisons. I mean, what is that showing you? So sometimes we have to deal with other people's children. Now, those other people's children may be our nieces and nephews, so they are the sons and daughters of our brothers and sisters, or maybe even of our other cousins, or they may be our younger brothers or sisters, our younger siblings. Sometimes parents have children many years apart, and we get caught up in that matrix, so to speak. Other people's children may be our neighbors' kids, or friends of our kids. You know, our kids go to school and they have friends. They bring them home, and we may take an interest in them from there. You know, from coming over our house and visiting and things like that. Or the places where we go, where we see children. Like if you ride public transportation and you see children that way, you never know who you might meet on a daily basis. There might be a place that you go on a regular basis where you see children, and you may see a need that child has, and you may try to help. And that's what it's really all about. You know, when you see children out there acting out on the street, a lot of adults complain about how bad these kids are out here, how disrespectful they are, how they don't care about their elders, and how, you know, the language that they use and the tone that they use for talking to people who are older than them. They don't seem to have any regard for experience and wisdom. And it's a microwave society in which they want everything immediately. So nothing really seems to this generation. And I'm not saying that's the way it really is, but this is the complaint that comes from many of our adults nowadays. It seems like with this generation, they're not willing to work for anything. They don't respect the process of things. They don't realize that things start from here and then they get here, and there's a whole big process which is in the middle. They just want to get from here to there, and they want to do it like this. So, you know, with examples of that being present, you know, sometimes we're going to have children that we consider to be bad. You know, they always into something. They may be getting into trouble with the juvenile legal system early. So they may have to be in and out of foster homes or group homes, and juvenile detention facilities and things like that. And sometimes because of our love and concern for some of these kids, we may try to help them out of that situation and try to set them straight to ensure that their future doesn't become stereotypical, especially if they're black. And you know some of the things that can happen to young black men and women. You know, it's not looking good for us out there, and this, with the future having so much uncertainty to it, it's probably a best idea. It's probably a really, really good idea that we try to help as much as possible. Now, here's the thing: we can't expect to be able to hold somebody's hand from the time that we meet them if we haven't raised them, and be able to give them everything they want and need in order to succeed. We can't really expect that, but we can do as much as possible to try to make sure that we have at least done our part. And that's sometimes what we have to settle on. Make sure that we do our part. Make sure that you do your part. I'll make sure that I do my part. Because at the end of the day, that's about as much as you can do. So if you know that a child hasn't been shown the things that you know that you can show them, or that you know will help them, well, then you simply help them. You know, sometimes we have to get away from all of the litigation and all of the things that will stop us from being able to help. You know, sometimes we're in such a litigious society nowadays, and what I mean by litigious is that somebody's always waiting to sue somebody. That sometimes we avoid contact with people because we don't want to be held liable for helping. If you truly are helping, then there should never be a reason that you should worry about any pedophilia type of accusations or abuse accusations. You know when you're doing the right thing, and you know when you're doing the wrong thing. But don't let people who might try to accuse you of doing the wrong thing stop you from doing the right thing. Do the right thing as often as possible. You know, live your life and do your thing, and make sure that you put somebody else in a position to be able to do the same thing. Succeed. You made it. Sometimes we have to give other people a chance to make it, even though they may not be of our own bloodline. If you did it for your own kids, you could do it for some other kids. and it's probably a good idea to do so. So rock out with that. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, when it comes to trying to help out these young black youth, pretty redundant, doesn't matter. Do your part. If you know that you have something to give and you're willing to give it, you make sure that somebody out there receives it. And you make sure that they can do something with the knowledge that you have given. Like I said, you may not be able to guide them all the way to the end, but make sure that when they look back, they are able to say that they got something from you that they would not have otherwise have gotten, or that they didn't get before. That's what's important, that you do your part. We can't always worry about, making sure that the whole thing gets done, because there are too many of us and our problems are too deep. But make sure that you do your part. Make sure that they get what you gave them. You should feel alright about that. UrbanTherapyWithSon.com. Make sure y'all go to the website. Check out the website. Get down with the website. Register with the website. You know what I mean? UrbanTherapyWithSon.com. It's real. I'll let y'all later. Y'all have a good night. Alright?